more stressful than homework? Yes.
Chronic stress. Okay, so over here I wrote here living with a toxic relationship, caring for someone with a chronic illness, and even workplace burnout. Okay, so I repeat, chronic stress is repeated long-term stress. Okay, next please. Alright, now defining mental health. So when we think about mental health, right, it's very vague. What can mental health mean? Mental health can mean depression, mental health can mean stress. What else can mental health mean? Shout some words. Can't focus on work, absolutely. So where do all these kinds of things fall under? So there is a framework that we talked about over here. It's called the BPSS framework. This one's a little bit technical, so I'm going to breeze through it very fast. So these are three different domains of which your mental health can reside in. There's actually one more domain that starts with letter S. It actually stands for spiritual. So spiritual is also the last domain, but we're not going to talk about it today. Okay, next please. Okay, so this over here, this is called the anxiety cycle. I know it looks a little bit overwhelming, but let me take you through it step by step, okay? So essentially, what this anxiety cycle means. Firstly, when you go through something stressful, that is your stimulus. What happens is, your brain will start to interpret this as, uh-oh, this is not good, this is danger. And then, FFF response. Does anyone know what that means? Fight. Fortnite. I wish it stands for Fortnite. FFF stands for flight, fight, and fawn. Okay? So these will be your three responses. So either you would go to this track where you just ignore it. Let's say I'm facing stress. I have exams next week. So I face this exam. And then instead of doing my homework, I run away. I play Fortnite. So what happens when I play Fortnite? I avoid it. And once I avoid it, my body feels, hey, not so bad. Fortnite is fun. I don't have to think about my exams. So it feels relief. But what happens? Your brain tells you, oh, so every time you feel stressed, you should play Fortnite. Right? That's what your brain is going to tell you, because when you play Fortnite, you feel good. So this is something for you to think about. Okay, so what's the opposite of avoiding it? We go down this road. This is the better road. It's the halal road. So when you are facing a stress, what you can do is you can face it head on. So what does facing your stress look like? Depends on what your stress is. So if you're facing exams, studying, meeting up with your friends, asking your teacher for help. And what is this? Parasympathetic response. Don't worry about this. This is just a function in your brain. This will be triggered and you'll feel a little bit better. You'll laugh. You can breathe a little bit more. And once you start to talk about your stress, you feel a lot more safe. So this one doesn't go back into a cycle. So what does it show you? When you're facing stress, sometimes your brain might say, let's just run away, let's just play Fortnite, let's just go out, just ignore it. But what happens? It becomes a loop. But when you face your stress head on, you kind of end up into safety. Okay, cool. Next, please. Before we go into negative thinking patterns, I wanted to give you guys a nice analogy, which is about worrying. Okay, when you worry, the analogy I like to use is like it's like sitting on a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you nowhere. So that's what worrying can sometimes look like. Now, we're gonna talk a little bit about negative thinking patterns. So when we think about stress, sometimes stress is influenced by the way our brain is starting to form thoughts. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what this means. Next, please. Okay, so here's a fun little scenario. Scenario 1, labeling and personalization. So here is an example. Okay, Sally is often running late to pick up her grandchildren from school. Okay, so that is the scenario. So, what do you think is going through Sally's head? Sally's often running late to pick up her grandchildren from school. How do you think Sally views herself? She's always late. Yes. She feels forgetful. How else? That's good. She feels like a bad grandma. 100%. Yes. Feels useless. These are very good answers, guys. Thank you so much. So, you're right. So, what are these things? Useless. I feel like a bad grandma. What are these things called? Starts with the L. Yes. Ooh, but that's a good answer. Negative thoughts, but it's a label. So when you use these words, I'm a bad grandma, I'm a bad person, I'm forgetful, you're putting labels on yourself. Okay? So over here, yes. Roblox? I didn't even ask the question. Okay, so here, Sally thinks she is incapable and irresponsible. So this is one scenario of how our brain can sometimes form judgments about ourselves. So just because she's always late, she has this thought that, oh, I'm a bad person. Oh, I'm a horrible person, like no one can rely on me. So let's look at scenario number 2, catastrophic thinking. So here's a scenario. Bill, that's Bill over there. Bill makes a mistake when filing an online banking form, and he thinks that he might be scammed and his account might get hacked and all his money stolen. So, what kind of thoughts would Bill have? If let's say you want to imagine how does Bill feel? Yes. Panic. Absolutely. What else would Bill feel? Insecure. Yes. Anxious. Very good answers, guys. Okay, so you're absolutely right. Bill might think that he's stupid and careless. So what does catastrophic thinking mean? It means when something bad happens, your mind automatically goes to the worst case scenario. So for example, let's say I'm walking and then my shoelaces are untied and I trip over. And just because I fell, I start to think, oh my god, I don't know how to walk. Oh my god, if I don't know how to walk, are people going to be friends with me? And if people are not going to be friends with me, am I going to die alone? I'm going to die alone. Uh-oh. It all started off. Yes, were you about to ask a question or say something? Yes, what is it? Why is it bad? It's okay. Anything. What do you want to say? Maybe later? You let me know if it comes up later, okay? So that's what catastrophic thinking is. Something small happens and our brain just goes to the worst case scenario possible. Okay, so I want to recap labeling and personalization. Okay, labeling means giving yourself a name or a negative label which can affect your self-esteem. And catastrophic thinking is one small thing happens and your mind goes to the worst case scenario. Okay, next please. Oh, you're amazing. Can I just say that? Okay, next we're going to talk about negative emotional patterns. So we talked about our brain having thought patterns, right? What about our heart? What does our heart do? Apart from pump blood, yes? It's okay, you can try it. It tells you what's right and wrong. You are very close, yes. Emotions. Yes! So your heart feels happy, your heart feels sad, your heart feels stressed, your heart feels anxious sometimes. So how do we recognize what kind of emotional patterns are we going through? Okay, next please. So here's another two scenarios. Scenario one, betrayal and resentment. So here's the scenario, okay? Betty's close friend no longer wants to play mahjong with her. You guys know what mahjong is? You like mahjong? Wow. You guys play mahjong? You don't like mahjong? Oh, you were very serious. No, 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 no. Fortnite only. What is mahjong? Mahjong? How do I even describe it? I don't even play mahjong. Yes, can you describe mahjong? Can you use the mic and describe it?
What is mahjong? What is mahjong?
It's like a game where you have blocks, then you just like arrange them.
Yes. How do you win?
I don't know if it's the like real one because I see on my phone like this. But it's like you have another block, then you like flip it, and then like you have to like continue going and going and going. Until you like unicorn.
After a round of applause. That's mahjong.
So that's mahjong, okay? It's actually not really important to the scenario, but I thought it's a nice fun fact. It's mahjong. So you, like what our friend said, you flip the tiles and you kind of find patterns in it. Okay, so anyway, Becky's close friend, she doesn't want to play mahjong anymore. I don't want to play mahjong. I'm done. I'm sick of flipping blocks. And because she has no time. Okay, but Betty, she feels that her friend does not like playing with her and has joined another group just to avoid her. Okay, so this is one scenario of a negative emotional pattern. You start to feel betrayal and resentment. So Betty feels betrayed and resentful, you know. But in all reality, maybe the friend just doesn't like mahjong. But Betty's like, this person betrayed me. She's no longer my friend. How can I trust a man again? Oh, exactly, just like that. Okay, scenario two, rumination and health worries. Bye, take care. Rumination, what does rumination mean? Bye. What does rumination mean? Yes, sir. How about you just try anyway?
Remaining stationary.
What does rumination mean? So here's a scenario, maybe I'll give you a clue what rumination means, okay? So John goes to his GP. GP is like a doctor. John goes to the doctor who sends him for a colonoscopy, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, to rule out a potential growth in his colon. He worries that the doctor may diagnose the presence of a tumor which might be cancerous. You guys, what is colonoscopy? What is colon? What is colon? I want to remind everybody here that I do not know what a colon is, so I'm desperately looking at my colleagues for help. What is a colon? Yes, oh, you guys know, what is a colon? It's a double dot. Okay? That is a colon, but that's a colon in English. That colon you're thinking about. You're thinking about the body part colon. Can I get back to you about what a colon is? I promise I'll get back to you. I'm not going to run away. Okay, so what happens? John goes to the GP to rule out something and he worries that the doctor might diagnose him with cancer. So John now suddenly feels anxious about his health and is very scared to die. Tak nak mati! Okay, so that's rumination and health worries, where your mind just starts to play over and over again. What's going to happen? Am I going to have cancer? Am I going to live? Am I not going to live? So that can sometimes happen to us. Okay, next please. And the last, so we talked about our negative thinking patterns. We talked about our negative emotional patterns. The last is our negative behavioral patterns. Okay, next. So, first scenario, escapism. What a big word. What does escapism mean? What does escapism mean?
Escape problem.
One more time.
Escaping problem.
Yes, sir. Escaping problems. How can you escape problems? What are some examples of escapism? Meditating. Wow. Do you meditate? Okay. How do you learn about meditation? That's a cool answer. But I guess YouTube, that's a very common way of escaping. Yes. Yes. So what our friend, very good answer by the way, what our friend here always said is ignoring the problem and doing something else and thinking it's going to solve the problem. It doesn't. Very good. I love your mind. So here is one example of escapism. Michael starts drinking. Haram. Alcohol is haram, my brothers. Haram. But later, okay, I'll take that for you. Michael starts drinking heavily after his wife passes on. Okay, so his wife passed away. Innalillah. Okay, and in order to escape his loneliness, he starts to drink alcohol to escape. So that is something common. But like what you guys said, there is YouTube, there is Roblox, there is ignoring the problems. Yes! Are you excited because I said Roblox? Okay. Second scenario, projection. What is projection? Anybody knows? What is projection? You want to try it? Scolding someone? I get where you're coming from, but it's not the answer I'm looking for. Projection. Let me give you a hint, okay? Here's the scenario. In a conflict at home, over his father's inheritance, Jerry gets very, very aggressive during an argument with his brother. Okay? And he blames him. He says, you're being so unfair. So in this scenario, do you have any clues about what projection could mean? Yes, you want to try? How about you speak to the mic? You tell me the answer, I'll tell you to the mic. It's like, you have an argument, you're in the wrong, and then after that, you blame someone else. Absolutely. What is your name? Aish. Very well done. Okay, so Aish over here has a very good answer. Projection is basically what is going on through your mind, you project onto other people. Okay, so I'll give you an example for myself. Let's say what are you scared of? Scared of God. Hantu, okay. Let's say I am scared of Hantu, okay? And let's say you are not scared. You are very brave, but I'm scared. But when I come here and I say, oh my God, aren't we all scared of Hantu? Guys, we are all scared, right? Actually, no, right? Only me. I'm the only one who's scared. But I say, guys, all of us. So that is projecting. I'm projecting what I think in my head to everyone else. Okay? Alright, next. Okay, so here is something for you to think about. Okay? How does my understanding of these negative patterns help me to cope better? So when you think about all these patterns, how can it help you? So the answer is very simple. The first step to recovery is having the awareness. So knowing what are my patterns, what do I always get stressed about, what are the things that always trigger me, what are the behavioral patterns that I'm showing, which are leading to me to feel a lot more anxious, right? Feel of anxiety just to say. Does homework give you guys anxiety? Yes. How about exams? Performing on stage? Okay. Should I feel anxious then? Okay. Okay. Okay, so we just learned this word. What is that word? It starts with letter P. Projecting. Let me give you a prize for that. Oh yeah, guys, we got prizes. Oh yeah. Okay, there you go, Arish. Very good answer. Okay, next please. Wow, what's going on? Oh, here's just a recap of what we talked about, okay? Look out for your repetitive negative patterns. So sometimes we gotta be careful. How are we thinking about things? How are we thinking when we go through stuff? Second is, how are we feeling? Are there any patterns in our feelings? And the last one, how are we behaving? What do you know? What do you want to say? Happy? I'm very happy. Are you happy? Nice. Yes, what do you want to say, my friend? You are mad. What are you mad about? Why are you so angry? Is it because you want a hat? If you want a hat, well, you gotta answer a question next, okay? Okay, next one, okay? Okay. Okay, next. Don't worry, we still got a lot more. Okay, here's something you can think about. What are some of my common trigger points? So, what are you guys triggered about? Yes, okay. Exams. Give me two more. One more. Exams, homework. What's the last trigger point? What makes you triggered? So, what else gives you stress? Seeing your brother. Is your brother here? Okay, what is your brother? Okay, but round of applause for her. That's good. Okay, catch up. Woo! You want a hat? When are you going to answer a question? Okay, next slide. Okay, so we got to think about how to identify what triggers us. So, guys, you all use TikTok? You use TikTok, Instagram? Don't you see a lot of memes that say, oh my god, I'm so triggered. Oh my god, this triggers me. Yes? So people keep using that word trigger, trigger, trigger. Okay? But here's how you actually identify common trigger points. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different examples of what could trigger you. So this is your chance to win a hat. Right? So each category, ooh, I got your attention. So each category that I point, I want you to give me one example of how could this trigger. I haven't even asked a question. I'm going to point at it and then you tell me one example of something that could trigger you. Can we do that? Okay, so how can a person trigger you? Okay, yes. You guys speak to the mic. You guys.
A person triggers me by disturbing me or calling me names or making fun of me by how I look.
Very good answer. Round of applause. What's your name?
Iman.
Iman. Alhamdulillah, Iman. You win yourself a hat. Here you go. Okay. Okay, you want to answer the next one? Okay. Ready? So, what kind of situations can make you feel triggered?
Friends make fun of me.
When your friends make fun of you, unfortunately, you are correct. Round of applause. So, situations can be triggering. Okay? Different situations can be triggering. What other situations can make you triggered? What other situations? You know? Yes? Mm-hmm. So when your teacher scolds your friends and then he says that none of you guys must be like him. He's my friend. So that kind of situation can be triggering. Okay. Next one to win a hat. What kind of comments can be triggering? You have a beautiful shirt. What? Okay. But what kind of what kind of comments can be considered triggering? Comments. Can you try?
Never enough.
Yes, absolutely. Round of applause for it. Here you go. So comments can be very triggering for us. Someone say, you're never enough. You always like this one. Okay, next question I'll give you for the hat. But what other things do people say that can be triggering? What is it?
Why you like this lah?
You kena that before. Why you like this lah? Have you kena that before? I kena all the time. So that can be very true for me. Okay, good. Okay, next one. Behavior. So, what kind of
Controlling.
Yes, very good. So our friend over here said controlling behavior. So sometimes when people are feeling very controlling, they say, hey, do this. Hey, you do that. Hey, no, you do that. Hey, you don't stand up. You come over here. So controlling, and that can be very triggering for us. Okay, let me get you a hat. I have only three hats remaining. Okay, last one, results. Results change your thinking. Why are you guys raising your hands? I'm not asking any questions. Would you like to say something? You know? Okay, how about the next question where you can raise your hand, okay? Okay. Alright, next please. Okay, so when you think about reframing your negative thoughts, okay, things in your brain. So there are 3 steps that you can do to reframe. Step number 1, raise your negative thought. What is the thought going through your head? Okay, don't worry, I'll give you an example after this. Second step, test it against reality and see if it is. Okay, scenario 1, I want you guys to pay attention, okay? We have 2 more hats to be worn. Unfortunately, there are like 7 children here with no hats. Should we fight for the hats? No, no fight for hats. No fight, thank you. Thank you so much. No violence. Okay, scenario 1. Sally is running late to pick up her grandchildren from school. And she thinks she is not capable of even running simple errands on time and cannot be tasked with responsible work. Okay, so this is Sally. This is Sally. She's running late to pick up her grandchildren from school and she thinks she's not capable of running simple errands. Okay, so here's an example of how you can kind of reframe the thoughts, okay? So first, the thought is, I'm not good enough. Okay? First, recognize the thought, I'm not good enough. So sometimes in school, if let's say we do bad for an exam, sometimes the thought is, I'm never gonna pass my maths, or I'm never gonna get A for my science, right? Is that you? No? E math? Okay, so first you recognize the thought pattern. Second, you test this theory. So think about it. Actually, I have big responsibilities. Actually, I'm good at some parts of math. I'm good at some parts of science. I'm really good at A science. Section A. What? Yes, what are you good at?
I'm good at engineering.
Ah man, we got a young engineer over here. What kind of engineering?
I build robots with Legos. And I work at my CC is Infocom.
Infocom is one of the coolest CCAs. I was on Infocom club. High five. We got an engineer. What else you guys good at? What subjects are you good at? Lavender, that's not a subject. That's a Pokemon. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now we'll talk about how to reframe our thoughts. Now, let's think about how do you guys feel angry sometimes? Do you guys feel upset? What makes you upset? What makes you upset?
When parents pull us.
Your parents scold you?
My bullies
Police.
and our teachers scold.
Teacher scold. I feel sad when teacher scolds. So, when do you feel upset? It can be quite scary. Yes.
Just from
Your brother fight you? Who is your brother? Where is your brother? Bring him now. Brother, why are you